Watch who?
Hello, and welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Yeah, watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
Yay! And it's season 8.
No.
Roll up. It's season 8. And we're at the circus.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Back in person. Are you feeling better after the last couple of weeks? You know,
Yeah.
Inferno. We got you back eventually.
I did. I had a cold, people. That's what it means. Yeah, I am feeling better, thank you. I wasn't expecting you to say the circus, actually. Me. I've just eaten a massive burger, so I'm like that sleepy sort of full.
Well, okay. Well,
hopefully something will wake me up.
Yes. Well, there's so much to talk about this.
There's so much to talk about.
Right, so season 7 was a very short season. Well, yeah, I'm not going to say. This one was 4 episodes.
You're not ruining anything by saying that. I watched it.
Well, no, I was going to say they're all 4 episodes, but they're not. But and it's Terror of the Autons. Well, okay, let's just address the first thing. We just really need to go into this because I wanted to watch this with you because I knew. At what point did you realise that Liz wasn't coming back?
Oh, good question. So to begin with, like, she wasn't there, but I didn't think anything of it because, like, the Doctor was working on something, and it was when the Brigadier was like, I know, Liz isn't. He says Miss Shaw. He says, doesn't he, not Liz? I know Miss Shaw has left, and I was like, okay, she's gone.
Yeah. So are you disappointed with that?
I am, but more just for that character because she's such a good character. I'm sad that she didn't get like the journey of the TARDIS or like just learning more about things new to her as well. I don't know, she was just a good character. I mean, she learned about aliens for like however long they were recording for, but like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm a bit sad.
Well, she's only in 4 stories.
Yeah. That's more than Dodo. I can't say
Dodo.
I'm sorry. Woo, we're really northern there. It's more than Dodo.
More than Dodo.
More than Dodo.
Not even a leaving scene or anything like that. So that is
that was
Dodo
the odd
in
thing.
that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really odd in that way. Because there was no indication at the end of that season that she wouldn't be there.
Goodbye, Liz Shaw. I know you're going to Cambridge, but I can still feel you here. No, I'm cutting that out actually because that didn't.
That's staying. That is staying.
Okay, so Autons again as well.
Like we did first episode of season 7.
Yes, and we like the Autons.
Yeah,
so
they win a Oscar.
Yeah, I love the Autons, but this one I only really saw when it came out on DVD.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning of like videos and VHS, people, when they're like also available and they have like a picture that comes up, there always used to be like Terror of the Autons also available, but I could never find it anywhere, and I really wanted because I love Spearhead from Space, and I was like, I really want to see Terror of the Autons. It was like I don't know, it just ended up being like a rare one to find, and it was never in any shops. It just never came up, and I was like, I never had the VHS. I always wanted to see it, and it had the picture, like the artwork was like the big daffodil head ones as well.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, what is that? Like, what is this all about? And I just never saw it. So finally I got to see it on DVD.
I mean, to be fair, that picture is terrifying.
Though, yeah.
The daffodil head thing.
And when season 7 was shown on BBC Two in the 90s, they never.
Do you mean 8?
No, sorry, 7. When season 7 with like the Silurians and stuff.
All right.
Then the viewing figures like dropped so far that they didn't get into season 8.
Right.
Because that's when I was like, oh, this is going to be on TV. Finally, I'll get to see it. And then I never got to see it then.
Oh.
And then finally, I did get to see it. So, but okay, well, should we do the usual, everybody, and go through the story, and then we'll pick up on stuff. Because we watched this a few days ago together. We watched the whole thing together. So
in
we're
one sitting.
Back on track, yeah.
We ordered burgers.
And as I say, so we start off at the circus here. Mm-hmm. It's all very nice. We've got some Well, actually, not stock footage. It is actually they're at the circus.
Yeah,
It's
we can't be
circus.
like, there's some London Zoo lions and elephants.
No, it's not London Zoo this time. It's actual circus. And this horse box materialises.
Yeah.
So this is the other thing, and we see immediately in that opening scene the Master. So with your knowledge of the new series, do you know who the Master is?
Yeah, I know that he's, because he was played by, with Tennant, he was played by...
John Sim.
Yeah. And I remember seeing that, probably Christmas special sort of thing. So he's like the equal to the Doctor in that they're both Time Lords. But whereas like our Doctor's like trying to help people, the Master isn't.
Okay, yeah, that sums it up. Yeah.
They're like as equal in both Time Lords. They're both very clever. They're both travelling around, what Time Lords don't do. But one's good, one's bad.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah. I thought you would know who it was.
Yeah.
Did you realise the Master goes back so far?
No. There was one point, do you remember I said to you, well, we nearly had the Master before you went, the Master of Fiction.
Yeah, Master of the Land of Fiction. He's a very different Master. I mean, I'd love him to come back.
Won't we all? But
he could go to the circus.
He's a great character, but I think I expected a little bit more.
Okay.
Like, as in, from this, I wouldn't be like, let's bring that guy back. But he's really good. That's not a diss.
Yeah.
It's just like, in the same way we have bad monsters that come back, the legacy of, I guess, the Master is what I mean here. It's almost as much as the Daleks.
He's up there, yeah, definitely.
Whereas, I've never heard of an Auton before.
Right, yeah, of course, yeah.
So...
That's a shame. More people need to know about the Autons. If the whole world knew about Autons, the world would be a better place.
Wow.
I don't know.
We wouldn't have mannequins in shops if the whole world knew about Autons.
I don't know what that doesn't. I don't even know what that means, but it just means I love the Autons.
It's Saturday afternoon. We're recording this. Me and Mark. I'm just eating a large burger. Me and Mark are like, the world would be better if people knew about Autons.
And then, yeah, like you said, we have this next scene with the Doctor.
Yeah.
He's in his lab. Looks like a new lab, a new set. This massive sort of odd room of bits and pieces, and he's working on his stuff. And then we see Joe come in, Joe Grant, messing up his experiment. I'm your new assistant. So what are you thinking of her as she came in? And she gets a fire extinguisher out, and then he calls her a ham-fisted bun vendor.
Bum vendor?
Bun vendor.
Oh, wow.
Which is my one of my favourite lines, a ham-fisted bum vendor. Like, what even does that mean? Is that your 70s thing? Is that what is that?
3 months delicate work, and now look at it, your ham-fisted bun vendor.
Ham-fisted, I get it, because that's like a clustered.
Yeah, because she messes up.
Yeah.
But a bun vendor, like a ham-fisted bun vendor.
I think of like hot dogs. It's because I wanted hot dogs for lunch.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, that's a great line. Yeah, I missed that. I mean, I realised he insulted her. I didn't realise it was that. But
well,
that needs to be on a T-shirt or a mug. I need that on a mug.
I don't know where... There should be more merch with that on. Ham-fisted bum vendor.
It's a new insult for life. I said, I do not like her, but I'm not, like, absolutely taken with her.
Well, she's very different to Liz.
Yeah.
Because we really... Because Liz...
she's different.
Feel you here. Sorry. Liz, we loved her with the science, and she was the equal to the Doctor almost with working things out. And then you go straight back to this younger. Well, no, because she's actually Jo is a unit employee, but she's back to that. Not even. Well, that's the thing. Not even the 60s, because.
Well, if you think about it, before Liz, we had Zoe.
Well, exactly. Yeah,
Zoe was smart,
and then you go back to Victoria.
Victoria at least understood. Like, Victoria's probably the closest to
that's what I was trying to think. Who is the closest? You got Victoria.
See, I have more Dodo.
Well, Dodo. I feel like Dodo's got a bit more.
Vicky.
Well, no. Vicky was more intelligent.
I feel she's quite
and you've
Dodo-like.
got all these qualifications that Jo's supposed to have.
Yeah.
And, okay, as we go through the story, she does go off on her own, she does this, but it's like one step forward, one step back with Jo, just in this story.
Yeah.
And I got the impression that you weren't that impressed with her overall.
Overall, I said to you, I was like, I just don't know yet. I haven't really summed an opinion yet, because there was nothing that she did that I didn't like. I said, like, Polly, you know, I liked Polly to begin with, and that changed quite quickly. So I don't really have an opinion. I don't not like or like it. And whether they did that on purpose, maybe they didn't want, like, because Liz left and they brought in this new character, they didn't want to, like, have it in your face to begin with. Maybe it was a conscious decision for her to be a little bit more, like, bumbly, to really show the comparison of those two characters.
Well, she's definitely there for the audience.
Yeah.
And that is why they did feel like Liz was too intelligent. It's a conscious decision to get this different kind of character in.
Sometimes I found it really hammy. Like, I can't think of it, but I just don't have an opinion yet, I guess.
Okay.
Because I don't think that was her fault. I think, like, the scene sort of wrote... It was, like, in that way. I can't explain it.
Well, the thing is with Jo, so she comes in, the Doctor doesn't really want her there, and then he sort of starts to get to like her, and they do develop a bit of a relationship. But then you've got all the other sort of... you've got Benton and Yates and everyone, and they're all treating her like... Well, she is like the tea girl, but she's also like the secretary.
Everyone treats her like a child.
That's it. They treat her like a child.
And I think that's sort of my issue, and that's why it felt hammy, because they, like, everyone, even the writing seems to treat her like she's Dodo sort of age,
well,
or Vicky sort of age.
She's supposed to be quite young. But
she's supposed to be Unit, and she's got
she is supposed to be Unit as well.
She's supposed to be more Polly age, I'd say, where she's still young, but, like, she's done her education and now she's working for Unit. Dodo, Vicky, and all that, they were, like, you know, teens almost. That, and she kind of comes in, and her lines and everything, and sometimes the moments are like that, but she's a grown woman.
But I didn't really like that she's sort of eager to please everyone. And then there's that line with Yates, because I think she's like, oh, I've messed everything up or something. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, love, or something like that.
Yeah,
you know, it's that kind of... Jo is a fan favourite, 100%. Really, really. But in this, if we're just talking about this story, it's maybe not the strongest start. And we're getting used to, as the viewer watching in order, getting used to this. We've just had Liz doing all this amazing stuff.
And there's nothing to say Liz wouldn't be there.
And the thing is with the character of Jo here, I think it brings out this side of the Doctor. This is the side of the Doctor that I don't like, where he's very, even ham-fisted bum-fed. I'll get out of my way. What are you doing here? You know, all this stuff. Oh, I don't want you. I want to, you know, he's a bit pompous in this, and a bit moody in this.
I can sort of take it, because by this point, he has been trapped on Earth for a whole season. And he's still trapped on Earth.
So he's still trying to fix the TARDIS in this and everything as well. So, yeah, I can see that point.
I can see that point of, like, it's just general frustration with, like, his situation. He argues with Brigadier quite a lot, but I can understand why he argues with Brigadier, because he's just sick of this being his existence. This is this all it is? I'm stuck here. I have to, like, all right, I'm saving the world, but, like... the whole point was he wanted to travel and see other species, other planets. I can understand why that comes through in that character, that sort of, and also, like, it's like you're much smarter than your boss. He knows more, he is more, and you're literally just like, are you, like, what are you doing? Are you like, come on? And but at the end of the Brigadier is his boss. He goes, oh, I have no boss and all this, but he is. He's only, you know, otherwise what would he have? He wouldn't have a laboratory. He wouldn't have, like, Bessie or whatever she's called.
Yeah, true.
So the Brigadier is his boss.
So, yeah, okay, so you've got
having
Jo
a really
there.
competent employee.
Yeah. So the story starts off then. These sphere things from Sphere from Space, they've been put on display at a museum, the Brigadiers, and then they've been stolen. The Master is stealing them. So you see that happen because he takes over, he hypnotises. So the Master's skill is hypnotising people.
Yeah.
He hypnotises the circus guy. And
he looks like a magician.
Yeah.
I just think, have you ever watched IT Crowd?
Not really.
There's a joke in it where Jen is dating this guy, and then they're like, what, the one that looks like a magician? She's like, he doesn't look like a magician. And then the next scene, you see them on the date, and he looks exactly like the master in it. He looks just like a magician.
And so then we're at a radio telescope, our industrial location of choice. We're still sort of, I mean, obviously we're still on Earth, so, but it was nice to have the circus and something. It did look a bit different.
Yeah,
it did feel a bit different. But we've still got some of our industrial settings. And this is where you said the music was really annoying.
The music throughout was a bit annoying.
You said it was a really bad keyboard.
It was a cheap one. It was the ones that were like... I'm sorry. Da, 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 for I can... Da, 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 da. So it was that sort of like... You pushed a key and it just vibratos forever, and then you push another key to the point where the vibrato is so bad it almost sounds like another note, but it's not. Just cheap keyboard. I said to you, I had a little like toy one growing up that sounded exactly like this. One like little one that had like a keyboard and a half on it, and you pushed it and it was like...
But they're experimenting in the 70s. That was probably like brand new technology.
Oh yeah, then. Completely. It's like an electric keyboard and they're playing with it.
Yeah, it does get a little bit on your nerves.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Well, the Doctor has this warning from the Time Lords.
Yeah, that was odd.
This guy appears in a bowler hat in the sky. A bit different to when we saw them in the War Games last. So it's a bit of a random...
This whole story, they're really loving the blue screen technology or the green screen technology, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they've got tiny little guy in a box. They've got that thing that kills later at all different sizes on a blue screen. Like, they are loving blue screen technology at this point. And now a man floating in the sky.
Yeah, we'll talk about the effects as well, because this season... came out on Blu-ray recently, so it's been tidied up. They've redone a lot of the effects.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't got the Blu-ray, so we just did the normal DVD at the moment. So we've seen it originally as aired, rather than they cleaned it up, they've tidied it up, and they put a different background in to make it fit in a little bit more. They tweak it, and you've got the option to watch either. You always have the option. They do that a lot on the releases. I tend to go and watch the special version. If they've redone or CGI'd stuff and all that stuff, I usually go for that version once it's done, because I don't really mind. Like, it doesn't change the story for me, and it just, I don't know, it just looks cool.
Yeah. Okay, I'm interested to see.
Some people are like, no, like
classical
has to be as it is, and people get upset if things are like they want it as it was originally broadcast with faults and all and everything, even if there is like, you can see blue and it's all fringing around the edges and stuff. Yeah, because that's what I noticed. It gets a lot tidied up on these newer releases. But then sometimes on the sort of non-CGI versions, they tidy it up a lot more. So it's not like broadcast, and that's when people get upset. So
I see. So
but we've not got to that choice.
Listeners, if we have choices, what do you want us to do?
Well, you see, we will get to a DVD point where there is a CGI option. Probably not on BritBox if we do the DVD. So I was going to give you the choice. Do you want to watch it originally as broadcast or with
I'm
this
intrigued
CGI?
what people want us to watch.
Okay, well, let us know then, because we've got a little while till it comes up. So.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, I would like to see it, but also...
Okay, so for example, on Terror of the Autons on the Blu-ray, the doll in the car, it's a CGI doll and they've redone the whole thing. You don't see the doll is all redone, all that stuff.
Yeah, because that doll is terrifying.
Like, and all that, yeah. So that is, it looks how it is, but it's just been updated with, it doesn't detract from, like, the story or anything, and it's, like, shot pretty much, shot by shot exactly the same. It just is there, so...
Interesting.
Another character that's introduced in this as well, Captain Yates, another unit member. So we see Benton again, but we have Captain Yates, who's above Benton. And you liked him.
I did, yeah. I did.
There we go.
Nothing else. I mean, yeah, he's fine. He's a unit soldier.
Okay.
I'll wait and see if he does more.
We do see a glimpse of when the Master... He goes to this factory, a bit like in Spearhead from Space. You've got the plastic factory. It's very much Spearhead from Space too, isn't it? It
is, yeah.
Very similar, but you just got the Master this time instead of Channing. So that end of episode 1 is very interesting, because Jo goes off, doesn't she, to... and she's hiding in the factory.
Yeah.
And she sees the master, and he's but she gets caught and hypnotized. And then they bring this like box into the lab, and she's like, "I've got to get it open." The cuts are really quick, aren't they? And you're just like, "Hang on, what's just happened there?" And she's really.
It was quite cool though. It made us laugh though as well.
Yeah.
It was her being like, "I've got to open it."
Yeah. She's like, I must.
Yeah.
It's like.
Papa, that's a bar!
There's a bit of a. I don't know. There's something a bit odd about that. Is it just really over the top? Is that what it is?
I think it goes back to the whole hammy thing. It's a little bit over the top. And I think as well, she's probably still working out how to play this character.
And so it turns out she's been hypnotised, but then the doctor can...
That whole scene after when they're trying to get her out is great. She looks proper
really
spaced out, and she looks and that whole thing, and the doctor's not cross. It's not her fault she was hypnotised. Yeah, I thought that was all really good.
We missed how Joe found to go to the factory. I think both of us did. Maybe we were eating burgers at that point.
I don't think we were. I just don't think they say.
Because I can't remember myself. Because suddenly she's there. She overhears something. She's like, I'll help out. And goes on her own.
Yeah.
But I can't remember why.
Everyone's like, where was she? And I was like, where did she get that information to go there from?
She meets the master and that, and she's hypnotised, and then when she's unhypnotised, she can't remember. But yeah, it's how did she remember to get there in the first place? Yeah. I
don't know.
Anyway.
She was just suddenly there to us.
Yeah. Back in the factory, we got the Irish guy visits. The Irish guy. Ooh, yeah. I can't do no accents today. Nope. And
top of the morning to you. Irish.
And he's like, "Oh, what's going on in this factory?"
I liked him. I really liked him.
So he was actually in Seeds of Death. He was one of the guys that got killed. He's the one that you said was flirting with Miss Kelly in Seeds of Death at the very beginning. So he's like a friend of this guy at the factory. Yeah. And he's like, "What's going on?" No, I don't know what that. I don't know what that was either. And this is a very classic Doctor Who moment with the blow-up chair, and he basically gets killed and eaten by this blow-up chair, which is plastic. What a clever thing, no?
I mean, yeah. To us watching this now, we know it's a blow-up chair.
Yeah, I know. And it's very 90s, a blow-up chair for me.
Yeah.
But it's obviously a 70s thing. We had it in the sort of the 70s revival in the 90s.
Yeah. I had a blow-up chair in my bedroom.
Yeah, they always seem to be like blue. I don't know why.
Mine was
a blue one.
A Homer Simpson one. It was red with Homer Simpson on a donut.
That's the circle so 90s.
Thing was, I know, it was so 90s.
I wouldn't like a black one though. I don't know.
It was a shiny black as well.
It's like sort of bin bags, but
bin bags?
Yeah, I mean, oh my god, I could totally make one out of bin bags.
Oh my god.
A blow-up chair. Anyway.
You could not make a blow-up chair out of bin bags.
But no, it's a very classic, famous moment. It's like totally a Doctor Who thing. Someone's been eaten by a chair. This guy from the factory, like the head of the factory, because it's the son that's been hypnotised and is sort of working with the master. He comes along. He can't be hypnotised, so the Doctor throws in this troll doll thing into the back of his car.
Which is really random. Like, that doll is hideous.
It's so good. It's like, what are those things, the fugglers?
Oh,
do you want to explain fugglers?
No, it's not like a fuggler. It's like, what were they called, those dolls? And they'd really fluffy...
Trolls.
It's like a troll.
It is like a troll. Well, they would have had trolls back then, wouldn't they?
I don't know.
Hair. Did you used to have those trolls?
Yeah.
That's so 90s. That is really 90s.
Yeah, I think it's more like a troll than a fuggler.
A big troll, like... You could get little ones.
Yeah.
And they just had just coloured hair.
Mine was green. I had a green hair.
I haven't seen a troll for a long time.
But everything about it said troll to me.
Yeah. I think that's what they're going for, aren't they? It's...
But it was very ugly. It kind of had like a face that was... as if it had, when you see like Egyptian scrawlings of like something that's evil.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. The face was almost like the resemblance of a Egyptian scrolling of...
It's like the Master's face, really, isn't it?
Is it?
In a way. I don't know.
It was just really odd. It was really like literally when I would be like that guy, but what is that? The dad, I'd be like, what is... I absolutely do not want that. Look at it. There's nothing there that I'd be like, hi, weird man. Yeah, sure, I'll take your weird-looking doll.
Yeah, well, he did. The master just throws it in the back, doesn't he? And well, he's not interested in it at all.
No, he's not. I'm with him. I wouldn't even bring it in the house. I'd just be like, as he stuck that in the back of my car, that's staying. I'm dropping that off tomorrow.
So I went to this convention when I first were going to conventions again, like my first weekend one.
Okay.
Like way back, like 4 years ago. I don't know how many. This is when I went and I didn't know anybody, and there was this guy. I don't know what his name is. People might know him because he dresses up as the master. So he's got the beard. Well, I think he's just got the beard anyway. But he's all in the black thing, and he's going around, and he had one of those. He's walking around with an exact replica of that doll.
Oh my god!
And I kept seeing him throughout the weekend, and every time I saw him, he was in a different master outfit from all like these different masters
hilarious.
and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, it's the master. And he was a bit creepy as well.
Of course he was. Because that doll wouldn't help.
And he had the doll, yeah.
That wouldn't help.
It's the exact replica. It was amazing. But then also, that was the time when, we'll just go into a convention story, because that was on the, just staying, and I didn't know anyone. I was like, it was like the bar in the hotel in like the evening, and I was like, I have no one to talk to right now. Aww. What am I going to do? So I was at the bar, and then there's this lady with like a Dalek dress. And I was like, well, I like your dress. So I was speaking to her. And then Master Guy and these other people were there. And I just sat down with them. But they were a bit... I couldn't get the idea that he wasn't the master out there. And actually, I don't think they weren't like the nicest people I've ever met anyway. I can't remember what we're talking about. I was just sort of just sitting there listening to them, not really saying anything. I went up to the bar, and I was at the bar for a really long time. When I came back, they'd all gone anyway, so...
That helped.
I was like... it was the master. But... yeah, I remember that, just sitting there being like, who are these people? What am I doing?
Oh, love.
But it was fine.
You've made friends since.
But yes, yeah. But yeah, I just read that doll. I would love one of those dolls. Like, someone out there makes them, I bet.
Yeah, of course they do. You'll be able to buy it somewhere.
So then we're back at the circus. So... circus time, great. Yeah. The doctor goes back, doesn't he, to investigate because of the guy that he hypnotised. And it's a bit of a trap, isn't it? Because we have Toberman from Tomb of the Cybermen.
I knew. Do you know what I said? You went, do you recognise him? And when he first came on the screen, I did, and I was like, they haven't just got like the same actor to do the exact same role, but they did.
Yeah, that's the 70s.
That's the 70s.
Actually, sorry, just a step back to the troll doll bit. We haven't talked about Wife of the Week, Mrs. Farrell.
Oh, she was great. I loved her.
She got a bit, yeah, she is. Well, she's not farmer's wife.
No.
She's business director's wife this time.
Yeah.
And
she's great.
She doesn't like the troll doll.
No one likes the troll doll. It's weird. Unless I'm like purposefully buying it, but if someone gifted me that, I'd be like, as in... not like if someone gave it me as a present, that's very different. But if someone literally was like, have this, I'd be like, no.
But she does do the wife scream. She's seen something.
John?
I loved her. She was great.
And then the troll's like running away. I think it's really scary when it's moving.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, it just kills someone. Let's not forget that.
And, okay, I have to mention Mrs. Farrell's kitchen here because this is a thing. It's more of a Twitter thing, I think, because I saw this a lot on Twitter when the Blu-ray came out. Because the whole thing, because you know they redo the effects and stuff. Yeah. And you see her, there's one shot of her, she's gone to make the coffee and she's looking around and it's complete blue screen, this blurry picture of a kitchen that she's made. And everyone was like, is Mrs. Farrell going to get a CGI kitchen? Is it going to happen? And it does happen, I think. She gets a new kitchen because there's just this shot of her. And, you know, because they haven't built the sets. They're just
blue screening it.
They're like... I mean, at the time, they must have just been like, this is great, we never have to build sets anymore, we can just do it all on blue screen. Yeah. And then there's a bit of the house, but you don't want to build a whole kitchen just for that shot. Yeah. So, just put her in a background. But it just doesn't sort of... And the quality's not great on this one either, so it just... You can tell, you really can tell.
There's so many moments that you can tell.
But on the Blu-ray, she has a brand new kitchen, so... that is reason to get the Blu-ray alone.
Yeah.
Mrs. Farrell in her kitchen. I wonder if Meg comes round for tea.
Meg? What, from the farm?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think they know each other, Mark.
Oh. Anyway.
I need to break that to you.
Sorry, anyway, back to the circus.
They can meet at the Doskers.
Yes, okay. Yeah. So, because there's this guy. He's... the doctor's tied up, isn't he? And Jo comes to the rescue. Yeah. So she's really earning her new companion. You know, she's going through a bit of everything, isn't she?
Yeah, she's getting her stripes then,
she's getting her stripes, yeah. And he's like, I told you not to go. And obviously it's good that she did because he got tied up.
Yeah, and she reminds him of that.
Yeah, and there's the guy with the bomb and you see a bit of blood there. That's a bit horrific, actually, because he comes in, he's got a bomb and he runs out, blows up. That's, you know.
Well, we don't see him blow up, but we see him after. We see him
But it's worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you don't see that kind of stuff, you're like...
I don't know. I don't know if I want to see someone blow up.
Well, no, I know. They're not going to do that in Doctor Who, are they? But there's some, you know...
There's blood.
In terms of, like, horrific images, I mean, we had some... You know, Spirit from Space was pretty
with
gruesome,
some blood,
wasn't
yeah.
it? It's still carrying on. You can see why people were complaining that it was too violent for children. You know, the troll doll, I think they've got a lot of complaints about that. And again, because it's on Earth, it still feels very real. Let's talk about circuses. So, did you always have like a local circus back in the day? I mean,
I have
don't do it
two
anymore.
experiences for circus.
Oh, okay.
So one, yes, the local circus coming to town.
Yeah.
Like, as in it was just rides and stuff. And then the second is obviously I'm near Blackpool, aren't I?
Oh,
so Blackpool Tower Circus.
Oh, wow.
So whenever we went to Blackpool and went to the tower, we always stayed for the circus in the evening. But there were never animals. I've never had animals at a circus.
So in sort of Essex, the sort of Essex village that I'm from, you always had the circus turn up.
Yeah.
And they'd be on the village green. So they'd camp out on the village green and you'd have all the animals there in their little pens and stuff. They'd all turn up. It was just like sort of overnight. They'd be there.
Yeah.
And in primary school, you get a flyer from the school to say the circus is in town.
Yeah.
This is going back quite a long way. It sounds really old-fashioned, but the circus is in town.
But we did
and
as
everyone
well.
would go to the circus. And it was on, you know, a couple of nights there, and then it would move on. But, I mean, it wasn't like elephants and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It was. I think they had a llama, horses.
Yeah,
and
mine
stuff,
never
but
did.
they would have all these pens and you'd be walking on the village green and be like all these animals around and
I was
and
just
it
on a
really
car
cool.
park. And I think it
Right.
still comes because there's never animals. But so they had the waltzers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the rides and stuff.
And I really wanted to go on the waltzers, right? And my mum, this is when I was a kid and had epilepsy. My mum put it off and off, and I went on and on and on about it. She was like, fine, go on the waltzers. And I went on, and my mum thought that I had a fit while I was on it.
Oh, God.
So made them stop the ride.
Oh no.
So literally, I did like 30 seconds of the waltzers. And she never said anything for years. I just thought like it had gone really quick. But my mum made them stop the ride.
Oh my God.
Because she thought she saw me having, like, I'm obviously just on a ride and I was probably just like spaced out and whatever.
Yeah.
Because they go for it and they're
They
like,
do.
and I think she even said to him, like, don't spin that one. Because
Right.
they go in this, like, you're spinning and then they spin you.
Hmm.
But that she was like, don't spin it. And then they didn't.
Oh God.
I was like, because everyone got off.
Yeah.
Like, everyone had like a 30 seconds of waltzer time.
It's your fault.
It's my fault. No, it's my mum's fault. It's my mum's
Yeah.
fault. And I didn't go on any rides again till I was 16.
Oh,
And then I went to Blackpool. I went to Blackpool Pleasure Beach and like went on the big one.
Yeah.
And did every ride. And I love going on rides.
Yeah, I'm not great on roller coasters particularly. The first roller coaster I went on, I was probably about 20. This was the first ever roller coaster I went on.
Mine was 16.
It
That's because
wasn't
my
good.
mum, and I went with friends, and my mum was like, be careful. Because I think I hadn't had it, like, at that point, I was over my, like, young seizures. I didn't officially stop until I was 17. Yeah, and I went on I went on the big one twice. I went on
Oh God,
everything.
I couldn't do that.
Everything.
I like a
went
ghost train. That's probably about my... Although I went on a ghost train, right?
Yeah.
And there was people in it, like, you know, jumping around and stuff. You know, just like
Right.
jumping out at you as you go. And it's not a fast ride. It's, you know, it's enough time for them to jump out at you as you go
Yeah.
past. And one of them bit my knee. I don't know. It bit my knee. There was like saliva on my knee. It was horrible. Anyway, the circus, right? So the circus came to town, like primary school, and the clown was in the, you know, and I'm not scared of clowns or anything.
But-
it was like, he asked for a volunteer. I got picked,
Oh.
which I have no idea why I volunteered. And I had to go in the ring, and then I had to do the sort of acrobat thing. So he had his feet up in the air, and then I had to stand on top.
I remember, like, at Blackpool Circus, and I remember my dad telling me that back in the day they used to have animals, which just blows my mind. Like, imagine, like, have you been to Blackpool?
No.
So you've got the tower, and And the circus is like underground, like it's at the bottom of the tower. And they have, like, it's in a big circle, and then, like, just as you see in, like, the American pictures, it's just like that. And they have these big, like, oval things where, and I remember my dad being like, we used to come in, animals used to come for it. And he said, and there are pictures, if you go online, of, like, them walking the animals on the beach each morning. So they take the elephants and all out for a walk on the beach, and they were the circus animals, and they performed it. But then, like, because they have donkeys at Blackpool and stuff, but yeah, there's pictures of, like, all these animals, like, walking on Blackpool Beach and stuff.
Oh, I want to talk about more fairground rides. We'll do that another time. And then, so the police car turns up and takes
I would love for us to go to Blackpool Pleasure Beach together.
Oh my gosh,
we could go on some
amazing.
rides.
Oh, I'm not great on rides.
No, but that's why I want to do it with you.
Okay, everyone. Do you mind if I just say one more ride story? Okay, because the last ride I went on was probably about 2-3 years ago.
Right.
Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park.
Okay. Yeah. So
it's not a permanent, it's been built up, and there's this, I don't know, polar bear ride or whatever. It looked a bit like a ghost train, a little cart thing. And there were 4 of us that were going on this thing, and you sit in a little cart thing, the bar goes down. I should have realised, though, because the car in front, before we got in, there was this mother and daughter, and I don't know, she must have been like 10, 11, 12 or something next to her.
Yeah.
And then there was this younger girl, like 7 or 8, at the side, who was like, I don't want to go on, I'm too scared or whatever. And so the mum and the other daughter was in the car. The little girl was on the side, and she was looking, saying, okay, wait there, we'll be back after the ride. And the cart started going up, and it sort of turned left sharply and goes into the dark, and you can't see where it goes.
Yeah.
And the mum was just like looking back as it was going, don't worry, we'll be back in a while. and then it just disappears into the dark, and the girl's like the mum was just like completely screaming, like it just took her, and it just went into the dark, and I was like, oh great. And then we were in the next one, and oh my god, it didn't just go like a ghost train up and down, it spun as well, and it was back and forth and up and down, and I thought, I can't cope with this, and it went on and on. It was a really long ride. It was a really long ride. And also I was like, is this safe? This is just some scaffolding in a park as well, and we're swinging around all over the place on this track going up really high.
Let's go skydiving.
Roller coaster. Yes. Maybe not skydiving.
Anyway,
we need to get back to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So the police car turns up.
Yeah.
And they take the Doctor and Joe, and then we find out that's a great cliffhanger again.
Yeah, really good.
Where he pulls off the
Autons.
and it's the Autons.
Yeah.
Now, these Autons aren't as good as Spearhead Autons. I don't understand why that. You couldn't see any different, could you, when we were talking about it? But they are very different.
I mean, they had faces. That was the only difference I saw.
No, but their masks are completely different, and I don't know why. Surely they still had the masks from the season before. Maybe they got rid of them by accident, and they're just... I don't know what it is, but they've still got the boiler suits, but it's just not the right face for me. And and it just really annoys me. I don't know why.
What would have been the best surprise was if we hadn't seen the Autons like the episode before, because the guy that owns factory walks in and and you saw them, and we've seen them previously to know. It would have just been the best surprise if
that was the first time.
That was the first time, because it's sort of a reference where you realise when this just before that, because they're in it and no one's talking to them, and I was like, this doesn't seem right. And then they go, yep, you're right, that's not a registered police car, so that's not right. That would have been the best reveal ever, to be like, oh, it's the Autons. I mean, okay, and Terror
and
the
it's
Autons.
called Terror of the Autons, yeah. They have to change it to... Daffodil Terror.
Daffodil Terror. But yeah, I think that's a... peak moment.
Yeah, but again, that is a very classic moment. We're getting so many iconic moments in this. Episode 3, we got a quarry action. Brigadier Benson Yates, I think, are there as well.
Yeah.
Fighting the Auton. And you said the policeman with the Auton hand was the scariest.
I thought so, just because he looked quite robotic in his movement and stuff, and I thought it was quite cool.
Great stunts when that Auton goes down
really
the thing.
Good stunts,
and gets, and the Doctor and Joe get away then. So you got your action, but it's different kind of action to season 7 action. I feel it's limited, and it's not all the soldiers and stuff, and it feels more part of the story.
It feels justified.
It just feels it's justified rather than before we'd have an episode of just fighting back and forth. This is like, okay, this is the point. And in episode 3, that's where you need it as well.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Oh, yeah. So, Yates is going to make some cocoa with the Bunsen burner. We had some Bunsen burner.
Oh yeah,
chat,
that was so
we?
weird. Like, he's a hobmate.
And that's where he has the sort of the hammy talk with Joe that you say, where he's like, oh, don't worry about it, kid. Something like that, isn't it? And she's like, oh, I feel so stupid. I feel...
Like, I just can't work out what age, where she's supposed to be.
But it's true, like, on Ambassadors, on that episode, Luke said it's going to get worse than the 60s. You would think it... And this is a great example of that, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't think you'd have those kind of scenes. I mean, okay, maybe Susan would have a scene like that. I can't think of any other companions, or maybe... Okay, Susan, Victoria, okay.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any others... that would have something like that, 8 years on. It does feel...
At this
just
point, I'm just putting it down to... It's a new character and they're still writing what that character is, which is... In these episodes, we get a lot of that. We get, Polly didn't show her true bitch colours for quite a while.
Well, I don't know.
So...
Hang on, did Polly only show her true bitch colours when you watched Annika Wills on a documentary?
Potentially. But actually, I think of the first episode, she was really lovely and she was helping Dodo.
Yeah.
And even and I was just like, yeah, she seems really like nice and like, but like eager, but like really nice. And then, she had one good episode after that and then it was downhill really.
And then the phone line's been put in, and you were like, "Oh, something dodgy's going on there." you were clued
I was on
up.
that.
You were really on that.
So
you were like,
right.
"Why is he? What? Something to do with the phone line?" And there's a coach going round.
Yeah.
Of Autons handing out daffodils.
And their weird masks. Their giant heads.
I don't like those giant head ones.
They're so weird.
I don't know if that's, again, a 70s thing where you would have something like that. Because handing out the daffodils, I think at the time there was something like that. It would be the equivalent of today.
We get handed things. I've been handed many a daffodil. We're in Wales, but I've been handed many a daffodil.
Yeah, but like back then, everyone's got the latest, whatever. I don't know. Not latest.
I've been in town today and they're handing out chocolate bars.
Was it someone with a giant face?
No, it was someone dressed as a giant chocolate bar, though.
Oh, there we go. Oh my God. What aliens use chocolate? It's chocolate aliens, everybody.
It was Tony's Chocolonely, and there was a girl dressed, it had her arms out, and you saw her face, but the rest of it was a plastic giant Tony's Chocolonely chocolate bar.
Oh, a giant leak said hello to me. That was maybe the Cardiff Food Festival down at the Bay.
Oh my God,
there was a giant leak. I have my photo with the giant leak.
So Welsh.
So I'll put that up. I'll post that up. Okay. So be careful for those. If you're handed something to someone in a costume,
I don't mind if I can see their face.
Yeah, exactly.
But Tony's Chocolonely girl, her face was popping through the hole.
Her face, so she wasn't an Autons.
And the leak, I'm guessing you could see his face.
No, it was a leak face, like a cartoon face.
Right, I know what you mean. Yeah. So, Mark didn't question it too much, apparently. He's just happy to have a picture of a leak.
Those, I don't like those kind of Autons.
They're terrifying.
And I know.
They kind of remind me of
something...
something...
They're Autons underneath, aren't they?
Yeah. They kind of remind me of something we'd see in... the toy maker...
Celestial toy maker type thing. Yeah, really over the top. But again, a really great image, though. Scary, though. I'd be scared of that. I'd be scared of this whole story.
It's just the size of the head. But, that's what it reminds me of. Shrek. And Lord Farquaad in, like, his kingdom. People have the giant Lord Farquaad head.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
It's that. So they're handing out daffodils, deadly daffodils, and we have end of episode 3. I think is the Doctor and the phone cord bit. We get Dr. Gurney face, and
we haven't seen that for a while.
Wrapping again, and this is what is known for this sort of era of the show. Everyday items can kill you, your chair, your doll, your phone, your daffodils. They're all out to get you.
Yeah.
But it's again a great image that just
being wrapped
down because it's all plastic. Because everywhere's plastic. Yeah.
I was all over it.
You knew that would happen.
I didn't know that would happen, but I knew there was something with the phone.
Yeah.
I thought they were just tapping the phone so they could get his phone calls, but...
So the Master and the Doctor meet.
Yeah.
So what, in terms of the Master or the actor, what are you... He's very background. He's very subtle. He's in control the whole time, I feel. He's like, and he,
What I
like,
would have
everyone loves
liked-
this master.
What I would have liked a little, because we've never seen him, but it's obvious the Doctor knows who he is. And I didn't like that as much. I'd have liked it if they were like, have you heard about this? And this is almost like the Doctor's learning who he is for the first time as well.
Okay.
I think I would have liked a little bit more.
Because they've already... Well, but then isn't it interesting? You're like, how do they know each other? What's happened before?
Yeah,
Where's this from?
And maybe that gets addressed in the
Same with like
future
the
for
monk,
me.
because the monk and the Doctor knew each other before, didn't they?
Yeah.
And you never found out anything.
But I think particularly as this is like, in the same way that like whenever they talk about the Daleks, we know who the Daleks are, like, we know who they are. This is the first time of any... and we can say that because we've been watching them all. This is the first reference of the Master.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
like this sort of, you know, this evil man. It's like, I know who he is. And I don't know, it kind of took... On one hand, it kept the story moving because we didn't have the whole explanation. But I would have liked it if you'd have been like... If, you know, the guy in the bowler hat come and been like, oh, we know someone's after you. We thought we'd give you a heads up. Who is it? He's called the Master. And almost the Doctor's trying to work out who he is as well. I thought would have been quite a nice... And then they meet. He appears, he meets, and he's like, so that's who you are, sort of thing. Rather than like oh, you again. And I don't know. It feels like there's unfinished business already, but we don't know the history.
We don't know. Well, we'll have to see how that develops then.
Yeah.
And actually, sorry, going back to the Master, we missed out. He's got his weapon that miniaturizes people, which
Yeah.
is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
That's the Master's
That's his version of the screwdriver.
That's his sort of, yeah. I don't think it's named in this. It's a tissue compression eliminator.
Oh.
I'm sure people have their own at home as well. Have made
course.
them.
That man at the convention probably does.
Yeah, the Master of the Convention, yeah.
He's great. I really like him. He takes it like... He's not...
It's not over the top. It's not your 60s sort of villain
No.
guy. I mean, we haven't had that for a long time, actually.
But it's not like over the top or...
He's believe
He's
that
playing
he
it
is.
as like... Almost like a Shakespeare actor playing an evil role. Rather than... I'm in a kid's TV show playing an evil role. It's
that's
really
it.
good.
Yeah, and he is like definitely up there. He's one of the fan favourites.
Yeah.
Definitely. This. Okay, so the criticism this story gets, as we wrap up, we're back at the radio telescope.
Yeah.
So what the Master is trying to do, I don't know if we followed this when we watched it, he's opening up these radio signals. Basically, the daffodils are going out, and it's to do with the radio signals for the Nestines to come down and sort of take over. And then just as the Master's going to do that, and it's all happening, and the radio telescope's around, the Doctor's like, well, they're not going to tell us apart. They're still going to get you as well. They're not going to... We're just a planet of humans to them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I better stop this. And that's literally it. That's how he changed his mind.
Yeah.
That is it. That's a bit disappointing. But I suppose we've had such a great 4 episodes before of building up to it. It doesn't really matter. It's not... You're not holding out for this major story element.
For him to set it and just get away.
Yeah.
That's all it just needed him to set it and somehow escape, and then the Doctor has to stop it.
And the Doctor sorts it out. Yeah, it could have been that. Yeah. But the Doctor's literally just like...
he's going to get you too. And it's like, oh, wait, yeah. Like,
that is a bit of a... I see what you mean.
And then they're working together, and it's like... Literally the whole time he's been trying to get rid of the Doctor, and suddenly they're working together.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that last scene that just needs a bit of work, I think. Oh, the brake lights and the Morse code, though. Sorry, we're going all over the place. I don't know why I found that funny.
You found it hilarious.
But that message is so long. How long does that take to press on those Morse codes?
Thankfully, we didn't have to see that bit. We got the first 5 letters, and then we got the whole message at the end.
I used to have a Morse code thing.
Also, they got a full, complete message. Like, I don't think he started noticing it. It took him a while to be like...
Well, the Doctor he's doing it on a loop, isn't it?
It's a long message on a loop.
No, that's what I mean. He's like... like with his foot on the brake. That was funny though. Clever, but funny. I need to look. I used to know it. Well, I say I used to know Morse code. I didn't really. I tried to learn Morse code.
Yeah.
I had a thing where you tapped and...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And...
Of course you did.
We have then... So as it wraps up, you think the Master gets away. Very clever. that actually, and then they take the face off at the end, and and the
Yeah.
master's got away. But then with all of this story, the master is trapped on Earth now because of the Doctor swapped over the
Which
thing.
is great. I really
So that
like
sets
that.
it up. The master is out there somewhere still. It's not been resolved just
Yeah.
yet. So it's a great season opener. Sets everything up. You've got your familiar stuff from last season, but then you've got all these new elements in
Yeah,
again.
it's really good.
It's great, and it's only 4 episodes.
4 episodes is just my ideal. Like, I'm really happy in 4-episode land.
Like when we watched it, we just went straight through, didn't we? We didn't have to have a break.
No.
We just
If it's a good story, 4 episodes, you get everything that you need in it.
And and then you get that variety as well. You're not stuck in the same place. But even in this 4, your circus, you got your radio telescope, you got your action.
It's amazing what some green screen can do.
And with all that green screen, it just opens up so many
I said
more.
blue screen before, I meant green screen.
Blue, green. I think it's blue or it's blue back then mainly.
Okay, yeah.
Blue, green, or yellow. They can do it with, well, any color really. I think, but
Yeah.
you can open up. You can have all sorts of kitchens. You can visit any kitchen you want now.
Maybe it was I think because you obviously can't wear the colour. Have I ever told you about my green screen experience?
No. Oh, come on. Let's hear this.
Well, and this will be the last thing we end on. So when I had a year out between sixth form and uni, and I was at home just doing light work, basically I worked in a music shop, and I ended up working at my mum's school's nursery. Literally, it's like, I don't know, my 3rd or 4th day. And it's a private school, and they'd arranged for a company to come in that does like these videos for the parents using a green screen. So the kids have like the green screen, and they sit in a car, and it looks like they're under the sea.
Okay.
So like, you know, they have to wave at certain things, and then the video shows like the, you know, animations coming in and bubbles blow, and the kids try and catch the bubble, stuff like that. Right, great, yeah. This is coming in. They told the parents this was happening, fine. But the kids' uniforms were all green. Like, so they had green shirts, green blazers with a bit of orange piping. Their ties were green and orange. The girls wore these like pinafore kilt things that were green. Literally everything was green. So you stuck these kids on, and they were just like, and even in nursery, the kids wore ties. They had like ties with like plastic, you know. So literally stuck this kid in front of it, and they were just a head with bits of orange every now and then appearing, and some hands. Like, and it was winter as well, so everyone was like in green jumpers. It was green. The whole uniform is green. Even their tights are green. Everything is green. So my job for a day was to undress the child, put them in like a white T-shirt, which is what we had as spare clothes in case they threw up on themselves or something. To put a kid in a white T-shirt, put them in the car, and then I get the next one undressed, ready, get that one out, put that one in the white T-shirt, put that one in the car, and then dress that child that just got out in their blazer, their shirt, their ties, their pinafores, and then get the next one, stopping other kids running into the sea. That was literally a whole day. That is all I did, was like shirts and ties and stuff and blazers and jumpers and pinafores. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I hate this uniform. So there we go. That's my story.
We had a green screen at uni. It's really difficult to light someone. When you've got them on the green screen, then you have to light the person.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I'm doing that, the lighting for it. I've just had a great idea. We can have to do a green screen video. I can do it on my new laptop.
Okay. Great.
That's going to be our next video, everybody. I'll tell you about it when we finish recording.
Okay.
So yeah, a successful story, a great start to season 8.
It was great by the end. I don't mean that like I did enjoy it, and I was like, this is an ideal length, but it was a kind of story that grew and got better as it grew.
Okay.
Rather than being like, boo, great, boo, you know.
Well, we'll see more of Jo.
Yeah.
And see how she sort of develops
Blossoms.
into this. So hopefully you'll like her a bit more.
You can tell that's not a green screen behind you, Mark, your picture, because she's wearing green.
Oh, yeah.
Can't do that.
Let's take a photo of that. My Terror of the Autons poster.
Yeah.
And so the next story, it's 6 episodes though.
Okay. Just after me, like, going on about my phone.
Sorry. That's why at the beginning I was like, and this season is, it's not. It's a variety.
Okay.
It's called The Mind of Evil.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be there, yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
What are you hoping for or expecting?
Hoping for some more master time, actually, with that sort of title.
Okay.
So we'll see.
I don't know why I did that voice.
But I appreciated it.
Okay, well, we're going to go and watch the show at the circus after all that, aren't we?
Sure.
Now we're here. We've set up in
tent?
in the horse box.
Oh, in the horse box. Quick before it goes.
So, before it goes, we better head off. And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TwoWatchWho. Thanks for all your comments so far. It's great to read comments when episode goes out and everything.
We do love it.
And also, just to say, it's mainly me on the Twitter and Instagram, but Sarah sometimes is on the Twitter as well.
Yeah.
So I'm on there.
I don't do any of the Instagram. You do
it's
all
just
the Instagram.
me, just me on the Instagram, and Sarah is occasionally on the Twitter.
I'll usually comment.
Because then I'm on our Twitter and I'm like, I didn't like this. Who's doing this? And then I'm like, oh, Sarah must have been on it. So I just think
I'll comment.
But we don't tell each other when we're on it. So I'm like, have you said that? Have I said that? What's going on? So just so people know.
Mark usually writes stuff, and then I'll usually not always.
I do mainly the posts, and then you.
I sometimes just reply to comments.
So it could be any one of us if you're on our Twitter.
We should start signing it, like put S and M. We'll do that
from now on.
From this point on.
Yeah, if it's M, it's me.
It says it's Sarah. But if it's a main post, then it's Mark.
But then it's just generally me. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're replying to stuff, we will start initialing.
Yeah.
And then we know who to blame.
We should have had this chat ages ago.
I've been on this Twitter for so long. Just da-da-da-da-da.
Cool. We'll see you next week for The Mind of Evil. Bye.
Bye.
To watch who?